There isn't going to be any funny, lighthearted intro for this video. This video is going to be on a more serious topic. I'm sure most of you know who a creator by the name of Mamamax is and the controversy currently surrounding them, but in case some of you don't, I'll provide some backstory of how this whole controversy started. On November 25th, 2023, a creator by the name of Mamamax uploaded a video titled, "This is the greatest cancellation of all time," adding Moistcritikal in said title. It has since been changed to something less aggressive, but regardless, the damage has already been done. The purpose of the video, at least from an outsider's perspective, was extremely confusing and did not clearly show what the intent of publishing it was. The title, both current and past one, did not and does not accurately represent what the purpose of the video is. This is by design, as admitted by Mamamax himself.
This is a call to action disguised as a cancellation.
Now, when covering a topic as serious as human trafficking, this is one of the last mistakes you want to make. Regardless, after watching the entirety of Mamamax's video, at least from what I've gathered, it was an attempt to reach out to Critikal via a public platform since, at least in Mamamax's mind, Moistcritikal was ghosting and or ignoring him every time he attempted to reach out to Critikal privately. In reality, Moistcritikal was simply sick at the time and he was not using any social media platforms while he was in recovery. This includes Discord, as admitted by Moistcritikal himself. He already rarely uses the application anyways.
Yeah, so here, you want me to talk about it a little bit? That rubbed me the wrong way. We talked like a month ago about like what he was working on in his investigation. And then apparently when I had COVID, he messaged me a couple times and I never saw it. And now he's taken that as me ghosting him and ignoring his very important mission. And it really rubs me the wrong way. He's jumping to the most extreme possible explanation for me not seeing it, which is really fucking cringe. That did make me upset. I barely used Discord in the first place. It was a miracle I ever even saw his message to begin with. And then I spent 12 days not doing anything online, in bed. And during that time, apparently it changed his whole framing of the video in order to make it like a Trojan horse of cancel Critikal because he didn't respond to my messages and ghosted me.
However, because Mamamax assumed the worst, he has unintentionally created this controversy that has since eclipsed his original message that he initially wanted to spread. Whether for better or for worse, he has unintentionally destroyed any attempt at bringing light to the situation he wanted to cover, something I am sure Mamamax is not used to since, after all, he is the same person who started the hashtag #PickAsideYouTube. This was after YouTube struck down one of his videos covering a child predator. Now I want to talk about the contents in the video, as there are a lot of issues I personally have with it. First off, the intention of the video right off the bat is already wrong. While yes, human trafficking is indeed bad, and I don't think anyone's going to try and disagree with that, no one is obligated to talk about the issues they don't want to discuss, especially when you've been in the person's DMs for weeks, practically begging for them to talk to you. Now, in the video, he uses the argument that human trafficking is a more important topic to cover than Sniper Wolf and Jack's films, and in the process, tries downplaying what actually happened to Jack's films by calling it, quote, just the latest drama or trend.
Behind the clicks and views of internet drama, there's a story we're overlooking. Millions of stories, in fact. Stories that scream for immediate attention, yet continue to be muffled by the cacophony of the latest drama or trend.
As I am sure many of you are aware, it was much more than just another YouTube drama. I think we can all agree that physically harassing someone at their house and in the process doxing their house to millions of people live surpasses simple YouTube drama. While saying human trafficking is indeed more important of a subject to talk about isn't inherently wrong, the same argument could very much so be made right back at him. For example, Mamamax, why are you covering small human trafficking cults when there's major conflicts in the world that are resulting in thousands of innocent civilians being killed, much like what's happening in Gaza and Ukraine? Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not saying he has to do this. I'm simply using his own logic against him. To act as if another content creator has a quote-unquote responsibility to cover certain topics on their channel just because their size is asinine, and to try and call out other creators who have done nothing simply because they aren't talking about what you want them to is moronic, pathetic even. Let's all be honest with ourselves. If you really, and I mean really, want to do something about human trafficking, Max, a YouTube video will have little to no effect at the end of the day. Will it spread awareness? Yes. But awareness without action amounts to nothing, and you might as well be screaming into the void. Now, I want to talk about some of the events that have transpired since the upload of that faithful video. If you don't know, Max's entire crusade is against a man named Gerard Davis, or as some people know him, the Black Werewolf Cult Leader. I know, it sounds ridiculous, but stay with me. Since the video he made trying to call out Critical, Max has been doing live streams to quote-unquote give the victims a voice. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and make the claim that Gerard Davis is either innocent or guilty. Frankly, my opinion on that is irrelevant to this conversation. But what I will say is that from everything we have seen, there does not appear to be any substantial evidence against this alleged pedophile werewolf cult leader. As ridiculous as that title may sound, that is what they are calling him. Now, Max has claimed on several occasions that he has more evidence to concretely prove that Gerard Davis is a predator, but that he can't show it because it would somehow invalidate that evidence from being used in court. Now, I'm no lawyer, nor will I pretend to have the knowledge of one, but from my understanding of US law, I fail to understand how making evidence public would somehow exclude it from being used in court. In fact, this very same sentiment was echoed by Mudahar, or as some people know him, Some Ordinary Gamers, when he talked to Max on stream.
I would say sit down with your lawyer again, because I've never heard any lawyer that would say that to me. Like, you know, hey, if you present this message, it's going to be invalidated, right? Like, you know, I literally released an entire call that I had with somebody just because they were threatening lawsuits against me.
So he doesn't even know what he's talking about.
How the situation was publicly presented. That doesn't mean that that call is going to be invalidated, right? Even based on technicalities, you can always take things to court.
Mamamax doesn't know shit.
So I would definitely confer with the lawyer again. There is no reason why you shouldn't be able to present that. Absolutely. And if your lawyer is telling you one thing, definitely talk to another lawyer, get a second opinion for sure.
I don't mean to come across as insensitive towards the alleged victims that Gerard Davis supposedly sexually assaulted through psychological manipulation. However, when we live in a world where false accusations are spread like wildfires, we need to be extremely careful with who we believe. The most recent example that comes to mind is Dream. Dream has had numerous allegations of predatory behavior come out against him, only for every single one of them to be proven false. But not until after the damage had already been done, all because some people just wanted free attention. Now, I'm not saying that what happened to Dream is what is taking place here, but what I am saying is that we cannot blindly follow witness testimonies as if they're objective truths. Max has even had sexual assault and abuse allegations levied against himself, only for them to also be proven false. This only makes things worse for Max, as he has had first-hand experience of what happens to someone when false allegations like that are made. Even if the allegations against Gerard Davis turn out to be 100% true, the fact that Max has prematurely made these claims without the proper evidence to back it up has only hurt the victims and their case in the long run. This next thing I'm going to talk about is probably one of the worst things Max could have done when it comes to trying to help his case. I want to ask you guys a question. Do y'all think that full legal names are considered PII, or personally identifiable information? And furthermore, would you consider leaking one's full legal name to be doxing? Well, according to our Lord and Savior Mamamax, the answer to both of those questions is surprisingly no, they're not. Now, once again, I am no legal expert, but what I can do is use the internet. And as the first result on Google states, yes, full names are indeed PII, or personally identifiable information. The fact you even have to ask that question is fucking mind-boggling. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with Gerard Davis? Well, Max, in his infinite fucking wisdom, thought it was a good idea to contact Gerard Davis's mother and brother to ask about Gerard Davis, and not only did he do that, but he doxed their full names and encouraged his audience to constantly harass his family until they got answers. Another commentator by the name of Lyrics even called him out on this on stream, and instead of apologizing, Max doubles down and tries defending it.
After our call, you did something I found was pretty egregious, where you started to direct your chat to tell them to go reach out to the mom and to the brother to find out information about Camden. Is that's true, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. So I think that sets a horrible fucking standard, because to my knowledge, you don't have any proof that they're even involved, right? The mom didn't help out Camden with his potential abuse to these kids, or the brother. Like, you can't prove either of that, correct?
Correct.
Can you at least understand other people's perspective on how if you set that standard for the internet, where you start involving so many other people that aren't even directly involved and they become collateral damage for something that they're not even involved with, you could see how that's an obvious, like a horrible standard to set. And now you're just involving innocent people into a crime that they didn't even commit.
I think it's a standard that should be set if the person they are going after is an actual sexual predator who is active.
In your stream, you acknowledged on how people have doxed you before, correct? And how people, like, how that's affected your life. So you're very familiar with how the internet works. And you're very familiar that if you're telling thousands of people on a live stream that, hey, you know what, you should contact these people to get information about this pedophile. And also, like, you're doxing the mom's name. Didn't you do that?
Saying the full name of an individual is not doxing.
What do you mean?
There is no chance in hell that you can genuinely try and sit here and say that full names are not identifiable information. If people on YouTube knew my full name, then I'd have been fucked over so many times by now because of it. It is only because I keep my personal information private that I have not had people like Scythe try and fuck me over. Listen, Max, I understand your cause is a noble one, and at least it seems you genuinely want to make a difference. But this is not the path you want to walk down. This is something people will never forget, and this is something that you have permanently damaged your character with. People are no longer going to trust you because of this. This is not something you can try and defend, no matter the reasoning. Gerard Davis's family should have been completely left out of this. They have nothing to do with his actions. This distrust the people are having towards you is only getting worse and worse the longer this situation goes on. You claim Gerard Davis is a predator, and you claim to have concrete evidence of this. But when people ask to see this evidence, you say you can't show them because it would somehow make it invalid to use in court. And when Lyrics continues to press you about your quote-unquote evidence, you tell him to go ask Mudahar, because according to you, Mudahar has seen the evidence, only for Mudahar to DM Lyrics personally and say that he hasn't seen anything concrete and that he is only further confused by your quote-unquote evidence. And that isn't even the end of it. After all of this happened on stream, after both Lyrics and Mamamax were done streaming, Max privately DMs Lyrics threatening to strike down his VOD because of private information being shown according to him. And can you guess what that private information was? A victim's fucking name. A name that according to him is not personally identifiable information, and a name that not even he had the courtesy of censoring in his own stream. And even after Lyrics agrees to take down the VOD and re-upload it with all the names censored, you still make a long and veiled threat to Lyrics because of the audience he has, and on top of that, you try and claim that he targets survivors of child sexual assault? Max, you have royally fucked up. Whether or not Gerard Davis turns out to be a predator or not is completely irrelevant now. You have fucked up at every point possible. You doxed innocent people and incited harassment upon them. You blatantly lie about having evidence against Gerard Davis, and when people like Lyrics try and question you, you kick them from the call not once, not twice, but 3 times. And after all is said and done, you still threaten to strike his channel down. There isn't going to be any funny lighthearted outro for this video. This entire situation could have been avoided if you would have just fucking waited. All you needed to do was have patience, Max. But no, you had to go and fuck it all up for yourself, the victims, and the innocent people involved. I'm fucking done with this shit. I'll see y'all later.